Russian Rick here to do a small repair on my Duramax. It has the infamous heater core leak, and the heater core right in here, I can reach my hand up here and it comes back, look at that, wet. So coolant is leaking down, and I actually had a little trouble figuring out where it was leaking, and finding the fluid on the ground actually sent me to my transmission shop because the coolant in this truck is red. And here's where I found it leaking. There's a little spot right there underneath, and it leaks down. Let me climb down here with you. Right here, and the fluid actually ends up on these transmission cooler lines. And it forms a little drip right here, and as it dries, because it really wasn't leaking very fast, it would get actually pretty thick. And I thought it was transmission fluid coming out of these transmission cooler lines, but it totally isn't. You can actually see there's a little bit more of it coming down up here, so it doesn't always run down the transmission cooler lines. Sometimes it comes down the side of the transmission here, but it's coming from way up there. And that's actually coming from the heater core. So we're gonna fix that today and make it so this stuff, as you can see, which is quite red, and I mistook it for transmission fluid, but nope, it's coolant. And Dexcool coolant in a GM vehicle is red, or orange I should say. So we're gonna get that taken care of and quit having our leak. And it looks like maybe some of it even follows the transmission dipstick tube and comes down here. But yeah, it's just those two little plastic fittings that hold the hoses up there to connect to the heater core. Okay, these are the parts we're going to be installing, and it's just a little quick connect, and we're gonna have to use this tool. This tool is meant to slide on the hose into this quick connect to release the little teeth that hold it on. So we'll have to get this wrapped around and pull it in order to get the current ones off. So hopefully we won't leak too much coolant. And in an effort to try to make a little bit less mess, I'm gonna run a hose up here through the wheel well and try to get it up to a funnel up here to maybe catch some of the coolant that comes out. I'm obviously going to put a drip pan down there, but I'm just hoping to dump a little bit less coolant all over the place. Okay, I don't know if you can see in there. I've got the quick connect tool on the pipe. I'm just trying to get both sides to line up. It's a little bit tricky. All right, well, it came off. It actually felt tighter than it was, but once I got the little release clips in there, I really just kind of had to wiggle this around and it came right off. So not too bad. I heard my tool fall down. I hope it hit the ground, but I'll find it. All right, so now we just gotta take this end off the hose. Almost looks like it was leaking right here. Okay. There's the old versus the new. Maybe the issue is just right here at the end of this hose. The hose looks like it's whole. Let me get some better pliers and see if I can move this back and take a better look at it. As far as I can tell, the hose looks good. I guess we'll fit it on there, and it does feel like kind of a loose fit. Get the clamp up there. I've already got the rubber seal inside the quick connect is all lubed up. Let's maybe position that a little different, and hopefully it'll squeeze on it tight enough. And we just slide this back down in place. Now we just slide it on. I heard a click, so that wasn't so bad. Now we try to find our other piece of the tool. Found it. It's right there. Got it. So we really didn't lose that much. Maybe a couple cups of coolant. Not bad. Just don't do it when the system's hot. Let's see if we can pour this in nice. Let's get this topped off. With how little coolant we lost, I'd be kind of surprised if we actually see. All right, there we go. We're up to full. I'll be kind of surprised if I actually see anything but coolant come out of the little bleeder passage right in here. We'll crack it open though, just to take a look. Nope, nope. Okay, I think we're just gonna run it, circulate it, and let it burp itself. It doesn't take this truck too long to get hot anyways. Bad news here is it's leaking out the stinking hose. So we gotta play around with our clamp. The connector's not leaking, but honestly it wasn't in the first place. All right, so this thing is not doing its job. So I think I'm gonna go for a regular screw-on hose clamp. Let me go get that. Hose clamp assortment to the rescue. Probably should have done this from the start. Oh well. Dumped a little bit more coolant on the ground. My wife always complains that when I fix something, I tend to make it worse before I make it better. At least eventually it gets better, right? Not too tight, we don't want to break the plastic. We just want it to stop leaking. And then let's put it back on. My only complaint about this tool is basically the first time I closed it, this little plastic thing that's supposed to hold the two halves together broke. But otherwise it works really good. Get that positive click. There we go, no more leaks. It was peeing down onto my exhaust there just a minute ago. So turns out this piece didn't fail. It was the stinking spring clamp. Well, there we go. Duramax fixed. My next project's gonna be my Hydro Boost, which is leaking. So that'll be a fun one. I've got the parts coming for that later this week. I think I figured out the reason for my leak. Turns out that these are slightly different sizes. I noticed on the packaging for the new part, 5004738, 891, whatever, made in China. The fitting here fits on the heater core just fine. Doesn't leak or anything. It actually slid on really nicely since I lubed up the rubber O-ring in there. But the size of these is very slightly different. Now, these are my old nasty broken calipers. I sized them to that, and then when I put it on here, I can see just a little bit, maybe like a 32nd of an inch, something like that, maybe like half a millimeter for you non-imperial types, that it's slightly narrower. And this one said it fit from 2008. My truck is a 2006. That must be the difference, but obviously a screwdriver engaged hose clamp was able to make up that difference. And having inspected this, it's pretty obvious to me that this hadn't failed and broken. That spring was probably just losing tension every once in a while, or from vibration would let a little bit of coolant drip out, enough that it was dripping down the side of my engine and ending up on the ground. If the other one leaks, I still have this piece, but in order to make that one work, because the hose on that end has some crimp fittings on it, I'll end up having to cut it and put in a coupler and another piece of hose. But I'll keep this around for when and if that happens. But yeah, I guess there's a slight difference. Probably not enough to worry about too much, just because I was able to put a better clamp on this one. and make up the difference pretty easy. But yeah, with the little spring clamp that came with the piece, it just didn't quite hold, and so it was gushing a little stream of coolant out because of the gap between the hose and this fitting. So notes for the future, but yeah, now it's fixed and it's not leaking, and this was leaking. So mischief managed. Thanks for watching. Russian Rick out.